Good crowd on hand. The students are back in town. The freshmen coming out in full support. Their first couple of days of classes, and we're underway. A spectacular Tuesday evening. Hokies will get the first possession. A little bit of movement in the middle, and now UNC Asheville trying to push.
We see Wilkerson as the single striker up top there for UNC Asheville, big and strong, playing it through to him there.
Asheville trying to push once again and create something offensively. And the Hokies are there to boot it away. It's Noe Uimana with an early touch. Mike
Asheville.
Brizendine for Virginia Tech in his 16th season at the helm of the Hokies. 6 NCAA tournament appearances for Briz, as they call him around these parts. Trying to get the Hokies back to the NCAA tournament. They feel as though they have a team that could play up to that level.
And I've talked to a couple of coaches from around the country that also agree that the Virginia Tech perhaps might be a sleeper team and one to keep an eye on.
Well, first touch in net for Cooper Wenzel for Virginia Tech. There was a goalie battle, Adam, coming into this season, and it was well documented. About 4 guys in the race, and Wenzel ended up winning the job.
Yeah, I think, again, talking to a lot of coaches, almost every one of them says, yeah, we had a big-time goalkeeper battle across the country. It always is that, but you get that little bit of separation, and that's one of those tricky positions where they say the battle's always going on in training, and it can be formed. So, but a good start in the opener there for Wenzel. Timely saves last week, and they're going to look for him to keep that up here this evening as well.
Well, on the other side for UNC Asheville, Mick Giordano, the head coach of the Bulldogs. Took him to the Big South Championship game a year ago.
How about Fair there coming out to play that with his chest? That's a lot of confidence. Talked about him being the goalkeeper of the year in the Big South. A lot of confidence to come out there and play that ball with your chest.
No doubt about it. Noe Uimana dances it up the touchline for Virginia Tech. Now they try and generate some offense. One of the big goals of UNC Asheville today was getting off to a hot start, pushing early. And one thing that Mike Brizendine thought could be a little bit troublesome for Virginia Tech was how well UNC Asheville presses. And you're seeing that here.
Yeah, UNC Asheville not afraid. An experienced veteran ball club. Coach Briz said that this is a team not trying to figure things out. They know who they are.
Here's Uimana. Try to cross it in front. Still has the possession. Hensley gives it back up to the top. And Virginia Tech will rework it. Stephenson out of the near side with Ioannis. Uimana gets tangled up and hits the deck hard. Foul goes against Hammond of UNC Asheville. And we got a little bit of contact early here, Adam.
Yeah, that's one of the spaces on the field here where you do not want to give a foul and give Virginia Tech an opportunity here on a set piece. It's a little bit from distance here, so it's not a terrific opportunity, but restarts on this side of the field can be dangerous. Do not want to foul in that space.
Saw Noe Uimana notch one to the back of the net on a set piece in the later portion of the season opener for the 4th goal against North Florida. Carter Hensley will take it for Tech. Lofts it in. Stephenson tried to give it a go, but there to gobble it up, the reigning goalkeeper of the year in the Big South, and Charlie Farrer.
Being tested early on in the right space at the right time. So much of being a goalkeeper is your positioning and understanding where the ball is. He got on that near post and was able to gobble that one up. See what I did there?
What'd you see, Adam?
I was saying, did you see what I did there with the gobble it up there?
Yeah, I did.
There you go.
I did. The Hokies. Heath Flathau from the near side to throw it in for the Bulldogs. And a quick touch right back to him. Wilkerson. Takagi tried to cross it. And now Noe Uemana boots it up the field for Tech.
Yeah, Takagi actually drew the penalty last week against Stetson. He's a crafty player, got in the box, drew the foul, and earned a penalty kick for UNC Asheville last week.
Well, they're giving away cowbells tonight.
That's a dangerous idea, I think.
They said, hey, freshmen, first week on campus, come on out. We're giving away Virginia Tech cowbells, and that might make a little bit of noise tonight in favor of the home team.
And you know what? You're seeing it across the country, college soccer really exploding. Fans and students are embracing it. It's one of the highest attended sports on campuses outside of football and men's and women's basketball. So you have a lot of kids that are excited about the sport, and obviously Virginia Tech in a premier conference with a premier program is going to pack the stands.
Well, best chance Virginia Tech's had early on tonight right there. Uemana keeps it in on the near side. Gives it off to Hensley. Stephenson now off to the far side with Gardner. Hokies working it up the touchline. It's booted out of play by Stephenson.
Virginia Tech with some possession there and trying to move the ball side to side, not able to really get going forward. Good job there by UNC Asheville to step into that. One of the things that I saw the other night from Virginia Tech was really good lateral movement with the ball switching from the left to the right or the right to the left to create some open spaces. We'll keep an eye on that here tonight.
There's a nice play up the field for UNC Asheville. Hammond trying to track it down, can't keep it in play. Well, we were talking about Mick Giordano, and we got eyes on him down on the field. This is a team and a program that is really on the rise in the Big South, Adam. They lost in the championship game last season, trying to get back there, his 5th season at the helm, and in a lot of ways feels like it could be a very, very dangerous club in that group of five's not a soccer term, but those conferences.
Yeah, that's fair. And 10 wins last year, that's the most in the Division I era. So you think with a lot of those pieces coming back that UNC Asheville has its eyes on that NCAA tournament, perhaps a one-bid league, although if you can get a result here, maybe you boost your profile a little bit. But you know, you're obviously going to have to try and really focus on winning that Big South tournament and getting that automatic bid. That's the only way for anybody that you know that you're safe come selection night.
Even crazier, they lost that championship game in PKs. I mean, you took it right down to the wire, right there. You're right there.
Yeah, it's such a fragile result, right? Especially when you go to penalties. But you know, and technically it goes in as a draw, which I think even hurts a little bit more because it goes in as a draw. But when you don't advance, it certainly very, very much feels like a loss.
The Hokie is down, and they still try and charge into their offensive third. We play on, and he's still not getting up. Virginia Tech trying to create some offense. Now Hensley wants a call. A lot going on down there, Adam.
It looks like there is a pleading for the handball. I'm surprised perhaps that wasn't going to be reviewed.
Andy Sullins is limping on the field for Virginia Tech, almost as if a decoy in the middle.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's in an offside position. He can't get off. I'm wondering if Virginia Tech is going to try and play this one out. There's going to be a stoppage of play. Now, here's an interesting part of this in terms of substitutions, right? Because if he comes out, you only get 6 moments to sub this year. So if he's got to come out, Coach Brizentine's going to have burned one of those moments.
Andy Sullins started his career at the University of Virginia in 2022. 2nd year in the program here in Blacksburg. There's a look at the collision. And Well, they got a case for that handball, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, so as play went on, and you see the protest there looking for that handball. But you have to feel for Sullins, who's trying to get up and try to get out of the way and let play continue and almost get a handball call.
Substitution for UNC Asheville. Figueroa checks in. What are your thoughts on the new substitution rules, Ed?
Ooh, that is a hot topic. I like it. I think in
we
the
got
early
all
going, yeah, that's true. In the early going, I am not sure that I am a big fan of it. I think there is some sort of movement to try and make the college game more like the pro game, and at this point, I just don't think it's there yet.
No way, Uemana taking it himself. Dancing around a defender, crosses it in front, and it's booted up and over the net. A good chance there. Oliver Roach got his left foot on it, but couldn't connect.
Good ball forward there to Uemana, and an even better one to cut it back to Roach, just not able to put that one on frame. That's one you want to get on frame, make fair, make a play on you.
And Andy Sullins is down once again.
Yeah, I think he tried to give it a go. So when we talk about the substitutions now, if you don't want to take him off the field, maybe he needs a moment to shake it off. He can come off and not substitute him. So you could play a man down and he can come back in. It wouldn't count as a substitute. So we'll be curious to see how this gets handled, or if you know, for lack of a better term, burn one of your moments.
Sure.
And substitute in this spot.
This early in the ball game, how detrimental could that be? Score is still 0-0. I mean, we just got going, and if you're playing a man down, it's just not exactly ideal. Yeah,
you're not going to be forced to play a man down unless you think he can come back here shortly. You're trying to feel this out. How serious is this? You know, there is an opportunity for Sullins to come back in the second half, so you can make one of those subs. You're not entirely worried about losing him for the match in case it's a serious injury, but you really are trying to measure and weigh, is this one of the 6 moments that I want to utilize here? But you know, if he tried to give it a go and he got back down on the turf, I think it'd be a tough ask for him.
Andy Sullins coming off, responsible for a goal and an assist in the 2023 season for Virginia Tech.
Big-time goal against UCLA and the Bruins.
And he's still limping off on the far side. We'll see exactly what Virginia Tech's approach to this is. Regardless, the Bulldogs will have the possession, and they will be making a substitution, it looks like. So inserting into the ball game is Malik Chow for the first time tonight. Chow, a junior from France. Played a little bit in the season opener against North Florida, especially in that second half. Andy Sullins is out. Chow checks in. That answers our question. The Hokies say we can't afford to play a man down this early on, and they use up one of those substitution opportunities. So Charlie Farrer has it and gives it right off. UNC Asheville looks to clear it away. Funny how the ball finds you as it gets right towards Chow as soon as he inserts himself into the ball game.
Well, trying to press, you want to use those fresh legs. You know, the other thing to think about is how hot it is here tonight. You know, normally when you think about college soccer, you're thinking about using those subs as kind of a change of pace, but now tonight you got to think about substitutions in terms of giving your players some rest and managing those in this hot weather.
No way, Uemana on the near touchline for Virginia Tech. Lobs it up. UNC Asheville staying pesky. Here's Chow, a burst of speed. Gets around a defender. Tech with an opportunity. Chow puts it right into Farrer. Big South goalkeeper of the year from a season ago, and he's tested early. He's been up to the task.
Yeah, proving it, right? Earning that scholarship. Farrer with a great way to get his foot on this, preventing the cross as the Hokies were bearing down in the front of the net. But good work there from Chow. to break free on that flank and create some options. So if you're Virginia Tech, you have to be pleased with that run of play and some other run of play here so far. But you're going to have to be really crisp, as we've seen. You're going to have to be really crisp and clinical in front of net to try and get past fair.
Adam, let's see if UNC Asheville can generate a little bit of offense here. And as we say it, they cough it up once again. Here's Virginia Tech. Hokies with some space. Uwimana taking his time on the near side.
Uwimana getting a lot of touches here, particularly on the offensive end. You like to see that if you're Coach Brizendine.
The fun thing about Noe Uwimana is he can strike at any instant. I mean, you have to be on your heels when 21 in orange has the ball. Here's Hensley.
Oh, great ball out there.
Beautiful through ball. Cross in front. Chance for Tech. It goes wide right. Hensley tried to net the first.
Really good play there by the captain. We see the armband there. Gets the ball in the middle of the field, sprays it out wide, creating an opportunity. Got it back, just not able to get enough on it on the shot. We talked about how good you're going to have to be in front of the net to try and get one past fair, and that one just wasn't quite good enough.
Carter Hensley, the only player to start all 17 games a season ago for Virginia Tech. Played the second most minutes on the team. Has earned that captainship.
Yeah, he was like a Swiss Army knife throughout his career, playing in a lot of different spots. And now that he's in one of his more preferred spots, he's a better all-around player now.
UNC Asheville just trying to possess offensively here, and Virginia Tech has dominated early time of possession tonight. Here's a gorgeous through ball up the field and offsides.
Just not able to quite time that run, but I like the idea over the top. Trying to break the lines. There's been some space there. Just got to time that run a little bit better.
Yeah, the kick was on the money.
Yeah, that's good delivery from the back to the front. You mentioned it a little bit ago, UNC Asheville not really able to generate a ton of possession, but they've got something going now.
Trying to strike. Negated quickly by Virginia Tech. Adam, who do you think has been the aggressor in the middle of the field?
Oh, right now it's Virginia Tech. We've seen Hensley with a couple of touches, and really when the possession is in your favor, you're doing a lot of things right, and I think Virginia Tech has been on the front foot of this match here in the early going. We're talking about UNC Asheville squad, though, that is very mature. They're not going to get rattled, so they're going to try and settle into this one, but right now they are chasing a little bit.
Virginia Tech taking it away in the middle early, and we got a foul. Hokie possession heading the other way.
Great job there by Johannes to draw that foul. Get a restart using his body to shield and draw that foul.
They reverse it off to Hensley with a little bit of space.
Again, keeping an eye on watching Virginia Tech trying to move the ball left to right, just like that ball in the switch of play.
And out of play it goes. Bulldog possession. Well, UNC Asheville, a team that has some serious momentum heading into the season. We talked about how they lost in the Big South Championship game, but you bring almost everybody back. And that's so useful when you have that much leadership, you have that much experience, and some true veterans in that program.
Not only is it useful, it's rare now, right? In college sports, college soccer not excluded, to bring back such a core. So obviously there's the continuity. Players know each other. They know how to play to each other. But there's also that shared motivation and disappointment from not getting it done. And so you have some players coming back and leading the way in the winter and the spring to say, hey, we want to try and get this done and accomplish some of those goals that maybe got left undone last year.
5 Bulldogs are preseason all-conference in the Big South. Of course, it starts with goalkeeper of the year, Charlie Farrer. Another good chance for Virginia Tech. UNC Asheville looks to clear. It's Chow inserted into this ball game, and he's made an impact early.
Instant energy, great look there from behind the goal. Just not able to quite get those hips around and put it on frame. But Chow, immediate impact here in this match. It's so beneficial when your subs can come in and you don't lose anything, and perhaps you gain something maybe a little bit different, give a little different look. It is one of the more unique things about college soccer.
Scrum in the middle. Ooh. Slide tackle, whistles, and a card.
Getting this one under control here early. That did look like that had some intent to it. Get the card early in this one. We'll take another look at it, you know, even from our vantage point up here. See, after the ball gets lost, just comes in right through the player.
Groleman just a little too aggressive. And Fair is there to expunge that chance. Well, Charlie Fair has been busy early. Not just trying to save shots necessarily, but trying to find a way to clear it out and give the offense a chance on the other side.
And he's been as good as advertised. Give credit to the Big South coaches for voting him as the goalkeeper of the year last year and the preseason goalkeeper of the year. He has been really, really good trying to settle things down, though.
It almost makes the job easy, right? If you're a voter and you have a returning goalkeeper of the year, like, he's got to be the favorite.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You're right. It's a pretty easy vote there, but he's certainly worthy of it. I always enjoy the preseason polls, though, that look a lot like last year's standings. Isn't that always the case,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
So that's fair.
Second in the conference in both goals allowed and save percentage a season ago. But it's more than just that, right? It's been talked about how much of a leadership presence he had, how in times of chaos they can lean on him.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I think is interesting and why the coaches vote, right? Because it's not just, if you just went by stats, why would you vote, right?
Sure.
So you're watching tape, you're breaking things down. It's the things that don't show up necessarily from a goalkeeper. His distribution, there's really not a ton of stats that are shown on the stats. Obviously the next gen stats that all the coaches have access to can talk about completion rate.
Here's a through ball, crossed in front, deflected away. Might have been the best setup Virginia Tech's had to this point.
Yeah, and that second ball there, Virginia Tech would want to get on the end of that one, keep that one in that final third inside that 18-yard box, sustain pressure, possession in that area of the field. But again, another good ball, over top, springing forward, getting in behind that back line, and causing UNC Asheville to run towards goal.
First time we've seen Sammy Colby get a good chance. He netted 2 of the 4 in the season opener for Virginia Tech, a 4-0 win over North Florida. Nobody's home on the through ball. And Asheville up the touchline. It's just launched out of play.
Yeah, looking at a little bit of body language there. Seth Hammond, a little bit frustrated that he couldn't get to that one. It goes out of bounds. If you're UNC Asheville, we talked about what an experienced team, how many guys they have back. Got to maintain the composure here. Still about halfway through this first half. Things not quite going the way that the Bulldogs would like, but yet still the score is tied at 0. Chipped over the top there. Fair's able to collect it right at the edge of the box. And it looks like Virginia Tech is going to try and pop some over the top here. It's worked. It's been effective on a couple of occasions.
Well, Adam, Virginia Tech on the other side, they went to 6 straight NCAA tournament appearances from 2016 to 2021, but since then 7, 23, and 5, and 2, 13, and 1 in ACC play. They were 0-8 in conference play in 2022. Back-to-back missed NCAA tournaments, but they've reloaded, especially out of the transfer portal. They've bolstered this roster, and they're trying to get back to the big dance.
Yeah, if you look at the trend, though, one thing that Virginia Tech had during those 6 seasons of NCAA tournament berths was goal scorers. You had Acuna with back-to-back years. He had 11 and 12 goals. Then you had Strickler with back-to-back years of 10 and 11. And then you had Labovitz with back-to-back years of 9 and 9. Those were NCAA tournament years. And then since then, you just really haven't had that offensive firepower needed to navigate the college landscape. And, of course, the ACC, which is just absolutely jammed.
Well, welcome to the new era of collegiate athletics, right? Because of Tech's 21 goals last season, 11 of them came from individuals who are no longer on the team. 51% of participation from last season, no longer on the roster. I mean, it's a completely new look. And what they added in the portal was exactly what you're talking about, is that goal scoring production.
Yeah, we saw it on display in the opener. Colby with a brace, also adding an assist. Transfer from Charlotte, you can just go right down the line there. Coppola transfer, and you know, we're kind of past the days where that is kind of abnormal. That is almost normal to just have a handful of transfers on both sides too.
You can split it down the middle. 14 newcomers for Mike Brizendine, 14 returners, and Tech with a chance. And quickly, it's booted out of play by UNC Asheville. Of the newcomers, 8 transfers, 6 true freshmen. And 3 of the 4 goals against North Florida were scored by transfer newcomers. There's Noe Uimana, one of the returners. Here's a nice through ball, put on Cage, just wide left. Ferrer was on top of it as well.
Yeah, Ferrer had that one covered. It was a good strike in the middle of the pitch by Roach. It looks like it's going to be a corner here.
Well, it took a while, but we got our first corner of the evening.
Yeah, good strike there by Roach. Good build up too. I think the more touches that Uimana has, the better for Virginia Tech, and it not directly necessarily involved in that, but his side of the field impressive here so far.
The captain from the corner. Boots it up, a line drive, and negated immediately. Nice ball up the touchline, nobody home. It's going to get out of play.
Yeah, Hensley's going to want better on the next opportunity, though not giving any of his players a chance on that delivery. As you see there, Asa Hamid making his entrance into the game. He got things started for UNC Asheville last week, scored on a beaut of a free kick. Opened his season tally. He is a preseason All-Big South player as well. 4 goals, 4 assists last year. So he will add off the bench, trying to add some offensive impact here for the Bulldogs.
Here's Chow. Puts it in the middle. Ferrer's able to fall on top of it. Yeah, so 5 Bulldogs. Preseason All-Conference. We talked about Ferrer. We've now talked about Hamid. Brendan Herb, also preseason All-Conference. Connor Behan. Miles Edmondson rounds it out for UNC Asheville in the Big South.
Behan not available tonight, dealing with an injury. But the rest of them, quite honestly, Giovanni, UNC Asheville is going to want you to call their names a little bit more to try and get into this one.
Yeah, right. I mean, we haven't mentioned them, and that's because they haven't had any offensive opportunities yet. Are you surprised by that a little bit?
Yeah, I am. I really thought that UNC Asheville would come in and have a little bit more of the ball. Virginia Tech has come out playing with a lot of energy. But, you know, just a team like UNC Asheville doesn't need a whole lot. It just needs that door cracked open just a little bit, as we see here, perhaps trying to conjure something off of this deep throw-in.
Curled in, played in the middle, and sent out. They wanted a corner kick, and they're not going to get it.
Yeah, good deep throw there by Roger Sanguinetti. If you can have a good, strong throw there, that adds almost another set-piece opportunity to your arsenal. And Hamid coming in, getting a touch, trying to make something happen.
Virginia Tech looking to clear. Uwimana deflects it out of play.
Unforced error there, here on the touchline.
Gives UNC Asheville a chance with just under 19 minutes left to play in this first half. Still 0-0, but it feels like Virginia Tech's been the aggressor. Asheville trying to change the narrative, put on Cage, and there to ring the bell is Cooper Wenzel, his first test of the night.
That could have been a tough one as the deflection there. UNC Asheville with their first 2 shots of the match here coming in just a short amount of time.
Wenzel had 4 saves in the 4-0 win over North Florida in the opener. He won a goalie battle, and he's between the pipes for Virginia Tech for the second evening in a row to start the 2024 campaign. Brizendine was so impressed with how he played in that opener. Said he's calm, cool, collective, but stepped up huge because he had the first save of the game, this incredible diving stop. I mean, really, really a highlight type play, and it came in the first couple of minutes. I mean, that could have flipped the game on its head if North Florida goes up 1-0 to start.
Yeah, the saying is that goals change games, right? So you're kind of cruising along there, and you know, you get ahead or a team climbs back, things can just go. The whole momentum, the whole way that the match feels can just change in an instant. And again, soccer is so wild that you can have possession for 90% of the match, and then all of a sudden something goes the other way, the team gets on the board, you make a mistake, you get punished for it, and then the whole match just is absolutely flipped on its head.
Timmy Adams, the starter for Virginia Tech in net a season ago, and Mike Brizendine felt like after the battle came to a close, time to make a change. Wenzel has earned the opportunity. Cooper Wenzel, all Big West honoree in 2022 after posting a career best 74 on his save percentage in 19 games. Another transfer for Virginia Tech. He's out of Cal State Northridge.
37 starts to his credit, so another experienced player out of the portal.
Crossed in front, and there's Wenzel once more.
Yeah, that looked like Brendan Herb trying to give chase in the middle of the field, but nothing happening. Wenzel does a nice job to cover that. Really, so much of defending and stopping things before they get started, and Wenzel does a nice job to snuff that opportunity out.
Came a long way. Fresno, California native. And Virginia Tech's got a nice mix. You have some guys from overseas. You have some guys from the West Coast. You have some guys that call Virginia and North Carolina home. I mean, really, they go everywhere in their recruiting.
Well, California is now ACC country, right?
Very true. Very true.
So it's a coast-to-coast conference. It's a coast-to-coast game now with all of the realignment. So yeah, the world kind of shrinks a little bit in a lot of different ways. The transfer portal is one of those.
You bolster an already incredible league, one of the best in the country, if not the best, by adding, just Stanford, 3 national championships, top 10 team in the country. You add Cal, and SMU's pretty darn good as well.
Yeah, terrific year last year for the Mustangs. I know we'll talk more about that at halftime, but with the additions to the ACC is just an absolute gauntlet. And that's the thing. That's going to be a tricky part for ACC teams when they get into conference play. Going 500 would be amazing. It would definitely get you an NCAA tournament bid when you go on the road and you're really maybe thinking about just taking a point at sometimes, because every point is so crucial. And there were lots of years where you had to get 3. We felt like you had to get 3 on the road. But now, if you can get 1, you are really probably ahead of the game.
Adam, it feels like gone are the days where you say, okay, I need 3-4 years to rebuild this thing. I mean, you can rebuild almost overnight, and Virginia Tech seems to early on. Now, it's not proven yet, but they've overhauled this roster in the blink of an eye, and they look completely different from a season ago, and they've taken advantage of the portal, and they're far from the only ones across the country to do so.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years now. How about 3 to 4 days, 3 or 4
Seriously.
weeks? That's about what it takes to get things turned around.
A couple of visits and you're done.
That's right, and a lot of players are joining in the spring, right? You go ahead and hit the portal early on, maybe perhaps in the fall season. Virginia Tech on a sustained attack. We do have a penalty call.
Absolutely huge with 14 minutes left to go in the first half, and this crowd at Thompson Field is rocking. early on a Tuesday night. You think they're excited for some ACC soccer?
Absolutely.
This
place, this is, you feel the stands shake and the cowbells go, and it's welcome to the ACC in Virginia Tech, and Hackenberg drawing that foul in the box. Take another look at it. Ooh. Lost possession of that ball, but the contact with the body. Hackenberg's going to go ahead and take this one. He drew it. Now he's going to try and finish it off.
Ethan Hackenberg. Big chance for Virginia Tech, the Pittsburgh native. Here's Hackenberg. And he nets it. 1-0 Hokies.
Yeah, well taken penalty there from Hackenberg to put this one away. Fair is going to guess the opposite direction, and just well placed from Hackenberg. Here.
And this crowd, I think it's fair to say, lit on a Tuesday night.
There you go. A lot of excitement, just well placed there. Had the keeper going the opposite direction. And Virginia Tech, for the second straight match, is going to play with a lead here in the first half.
Hackenberg with his first goal of the season. It comes in the 31st minute.
Fair has been so good. That's tough. That's a tough one to take as a keeper. You know, it's a crapshoot there. So has to be a little bit disappointed that he's played so well and then had to face a penalty. But still 13 minutes left here in this first half. I don't think a whole lot changes for UNC Asheville. They just got to get more of the ball. Just have to have more possession. Have to amp up that energy a little bit. Might have to take a few more chances winning the ball in the midfield to try and establish more possession.
If you're Virginia Tech, you got to think the philosophy doesn't change either. Coach Brizendine didn't feel comfortable when they were up 3-4-0.
Well, listen, no coach is ever comfortable. If they are, they're lying to you, because they always want the next one.
Here's Virginia Tech. And sent out of play. Another really heads-up defensive play by slide tackle foul, but he's been all over the place defensively and has really taken away a handful of chances from Virginia Tech in this first half.
And that was brave at the edge of the box, but well timed, got the ball and got it away.
Fair boots it up the field. Headed away by the Hokies. And Hensley just takes it away. I mean, pickpocketing in the middle. What a through ball. Tech with a chance. Even up the field. Trying to dance his way through the traffic was the transfer in Coppola. He notched a goal in the season opener for Virginia Tech.
Last week, UNC Asheville was up 2-0, then surrendered a goal. So again, we talk about the momentum perhaps changing. What did they do 1 minute later? Scored another. So the response was there. But right now, Virginia Tech scores the goal, and it's continuing to be the aggressor. So UNC Asheville has to find a response.
There's Marcos Esco weaving his way through traffic, tripped up. Chow got in the mix. And another call goes against the Bulldogs.
Really dangerous spot here to foul. Virginia Tech's going to have a look. A free kick opportunity. Could look similar to the one they scored last week in a similar spot.
Well, I know who's going to have it. It's going to be 21 in orange if I had to guess, and actually it's not going to be 21 in orange. He put the ball down, and instead it's going to be Ethan Hackenberg. But we did say Uemana score from this exact spot last week.
Hackenberg's got one on the penalty. Perhaps going to put this one on frame, or maybe try to find one of these runners at the back post.
Hackenberg setting it up. Clock winds just north of 11 minutes left to play in this first half. Here's Hackenberg. And Farrer deflects it away with the left hand. Outstanding save.
Really good stuff there from Farrer. There were a couple of different options because Stephenson was giving chase there, perhaps getting in the way. You're going to see Stephenson come right in front there. Looks like he might be able to have a go at it, but Fair makes the save, as that one was definitely on frame, would have gone in had he not.
Keeps it a 1-0 game.
Paw on it.
Asheville now with 10.5 left to play. Trying to just find a way to get some offense going late in the half, because if you can find an equalizer before that break, scratch this first half out the window.
It would be huge because right now UNC Asheville has just been fighting uphill. So you got to figure out a way, even if you're not able to get one, to just try and generate some more opportunities. Hamid's come in and provided a little bit of an offensive spark, getting both of UNC Asheville's shots off here in the first half. So got to try and find a way to get from that back to front, trying to build through the midfield. Just hasn't gone UNC Asheville's way here so far.
Sent out of play, and call goes against Virginia Tech. Stephenson can't believe it.
Yeah, he was hoping for a deflection.
Well, he gets a yellow.
Ooh. It might be with the protest, I think, rather than the tackle. I don't think there was anything in the tackle.
Loki Stephenson, little bit of contact there.
Right.
Just a hair.
Yep.
I think the call's valid, and I think you're right. The yellow card on the protest.
Perhaps with the protest.
Got to keep your cool. See if UNC Asheville can take advantage. Lofted in. And sails wide right.
Beckett with a goal last week, trying to serve that one into Ragnarsson. But Virginia Tech, physical, able to be up to the task defensively. About all you could ask here from the Hokies through the first 35 minutes.
Tech's been the aggressor. That's kind of been our storyline in this first half, but I think something we have yet to talk about is Tech just looks a little bigger, right? And that helps when you have physical plays like that, especially towards the net. A little bit bigger, a little bit faster, a little bit stronger, and it's shown.
That's obviously tough to compete with, right? if you've got all of those, but particularly those center back spots.
There's Chow in the middle. Take it away. Here comes Asheville up the near side. But every time they try and send it up the field into the offensive third, Virginia Tech's there. The defensive back line just takes it right back, and here we go again.
When you talk about coaches talk about playing with energy, this is what you're talking about. Maybe it's not if the players lined up, who would win a foot race? Probably going to be pretty similar. But on the night, are you able to read where that ball's going to go? Are you going to be a step faster? Are you going to give that amount of effort to try and get there first? And right now, Virginia Tech is answering those questions with, yes, it can be a little bit faster here.
Stephenson. Now Hensley lobs it up. Uimana trying to track it down. It evades him. And slid out of bounds by the captain.
It's an innocent play there. Slide tackling that one by Carter Hensley, but it allows Virginia Tech to get organized, get back, prevent a counterattack. So knocking that ball out looks like an innocent play, but a really smart play there by Hensley to prevent the counter.
The Bulldogs tried to reverse field. A lot of contact. And we have another Hokie down and another card. This time it's Miles Edmondson.
A couple of cards issued here in this first half. You have to maintain your composure. A couple of cards issued the other night in UNC Asheville's match against Stetson. I see the players going for the ball there. And again, you know, how much of this is the contact, and then how much of it is the discussion, we'll say,
sure,
afterwards leading to the card.
Well, to your point, Adam, there was a little bit of a scrum with Stetson last week for the Bulldogs. Maybe a little bit of something to keep your eyes out for, as this team has a chip on their shoulder, right? That's kind of their MO this year. lost in PKs in the Big South Championship, trying to prove themselves, trying to be that team that punches in the Big South. And when you play with that chip on your shoulder, you have to find a way to balance that with keeping your cool.
Yeah, you want to play with an edge, but you have to keep it in check to make sure that you don't hurt your team.
Another big bout.
Hensley is contending that he won the ball, and he's going to get a card. And so several cards here issued.
Oprah, you get a card? I get a card?
That's right. That's right. Just trying to settle this match down as we see the tempers flaring a little bit, and our center has just indicated he's not going to have any of it. I think Hensley's got a case in terms of winning that, but the contact afterwards is going to lead to the free kick here for UNC Asheville, and you see the consternation from Hensley.
Well, it's deep, but it's inside the attacking third. We'll see what they do here. Yeah. You have Herb in there, and you have Hamid as well.
Hamid scored on a free kick from, it was closer than this, it was closer to 20.
Hamid doesn't go, Herb does.
Oh.
Misses it wide left. That was close, maybe a little bit closer than Wenzel had anticipated.
Yeah, from our vantage point, that ball was bending, looking to be upper 90, but I think Wenzel had it read pretty well. Never sweat, and even if he had it wrong, no big deal, right? As long as it doesn't go in, you can always play it off. Yeah, I had it read right all the way.
Again, he was outstanding in the opener. 4 saves, all of them were not easy. All of them highlight reel type saves out of 25 in the neon. Oh, what a through ball. Here comes Virginia Tech. Offsides. They got past Farrer. And that's the second offsides against the Hokies tonight.
Yeah, that one looked like maybe a step and a half. Just got to hold that run.
Now here's Asheville from the far side trying to create. All of a sudden a chance and nothing to come of it. They'll take the corner kick and kind of live to fight another day there. Instead of trying to cross in front, instead of trying to put it on net, Tino Vasquez says, hey, let's send it off to the corner.
And Beckett looks like he's over there to take this one. Big moment here for the Bulldogs. Can they perhaps conjure a little bit of something here late in this first half?
A little bit further out for UNC Asheville here, up at the top of the box. 3 defenders on the back line for Tech trying to clog it up in the middle. Here's Beckett. Line drive kick. Headed away.
Yeah, Stephenson there got his head on it and over the crossbar for another corner, but you talked about the height of that back line from Virginia Tech. Really tough to break down. UNC Asheville just not able to match up from a size standpoint. That doesn't mean they can't win the ball in the air, but it's going to be a challenge as you have some tall center backs there for the Hokies.
It's Brendan Herb from the near corner now. Serves it in on the ground. Shot in front, deflected away, never got off the ground.
Yeah, perhaps thinking that play it there might be the best course of action rather than trying to serve one in the air into the box where Virginia Tech might be able to get ahead on it.
Uimana and Farrer both go flying.
Oh, yeah, on the field.
And now Uimana will overhead it in. 4 minutes remaining in this first half. 1-0 Virginia Tech. It was Hackenberg with his first goal of the season on a penalty kick. Here he is. And saying welcome to the ball game photographers along the back line. Farrer now with a goal kick. 3:30 and counting left to play in this first half. We've had 4 yellow cards in this first half between UNC Asheville and Virginia Tech.
You know, we say it all the time as broadcasters that hopefully the intent by the official might be to settle things down. We'll see how that plays out. We'll see if the cards continue to get issued or if things maybe do get cleaned up and it's a little bit cleaner in the second half. And we'll see if the referee's intent, if that's what it was, if it ends up working.
Wenzel reverses it off to Uimana, trying to find Esco. UNC Asheville's there to take it back. Ragnarsson boots it up the field. Asheville trying to go with just over 2.5 left to play. Sanguinetti lobs it in. 2-on-1 in the middle. And a size mismatch on top of it. Gardner hits the deck. And a little tangled up there with Hamid. And we plummet to 2 minutes left to play. Now it feels like both teams almost, in a way, trying to get this thing to the locker room. But wouldn't be shocked to see someone try and push the tempo here in the final 120 seconds.
UNC Asheville would love to try and steal something here. They're going to maybe throw some things forward if it gets an opportunity. But otherwise, I do think Virginia Tech looks pretty content to take its time here. Try to make, if they make one last run, make sure it is the last run of this. Don't get caught on anything silly if you're trying to press forward. Yeah, I didn't want to give it away there.
Booted up the field by Stephenson. Uimana is down momentarily. He's back up now. And just 60 seconds left to play in this first half. Well, we got a treat coming up before we send you to a halftime break. Mick Giordano, the head coach of UNC Asheville, and here's Wenzel with a goal kick for the Hokies. Here's a chance. It's 1-on-3. Offense trying to flood back into the attacking third. And Hamid dancing. But up to the task is Stephenson.
He's going to have to hurry here to try and get a corner off.
11 seconds. Hurry up. Here's Herb from the near corner. Surveys it in. Put on cage momentarily. Hit the post on the far side. And the Hokies, a little bit of a scare at the end. They'll take the 1-0 lead into the locker room. Well, in the final second of the first half, that was the best chance all day for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, absolutely wild there. Virginia Tech looked like it was UNC Asheville. Didn't take much to generate almost a goal there at the end of the first half.
Maybe a little bit of an eye-opener for the Hokies as they'll start with the possession. In half number 2, we are underway. It is a gorgeous Tuesday night in Blacksburg. This place is absolutely packed, Adam. All the students back in town. Blacksburg is buzzing. And Thompson Field has produced just a sensational crowd for this college soccer match.
Yeah, I was just telling you that when this crowd gets stomping, you can feel the booth shake. A lot of excitement around this program. I think that there's a lot of faith in Coach Briz and getting the Hokies back into the NCAA tournament. A lot of excitement around a lot of college programs in the country. And trying to get back to the NCAA tournament, try to compete for a national championship.
Well, Asheville trying to compete right here, maybe a chance off the bat. And here they go. Cross in front and deflected away immediately. Canceling that one, Willie Cardona, one of his first big touches. Gets Tech going defensively in the second half. And Asheville throw it in from the far side.
So what we saw there was good job by UNC Asheville getting to the second ball. And we heard Coach Giordano going into halftime saying that they had to be better in that area. Saw a good example of it here in the early going.
really cool to be able to talk to both Coach Giordano and, of course, on the other side, the head man of the Hokies, Coach Briz in his 16th season, just kind of picking their brain a little bit throughout the action. Yeah. Always a treat.
It is interesting to kind of compare notes, right, from what we're seeing to what the coaches are seeing. And I think we talked about it a little bit in the first half of being of UNC Asheville just not being quick to the ball, and it wasn't because they just don't have fast players. It's just sometimes the energy gets taken out of you. We heard Coach Giordano talk about this environment here at Thompson Field, and so 45 minutes to try and settle into this and acclimate, and then you got to know that you got to be fast to the ball, and we saw it in that little highlight package too. Chow, quick to the ball, winning that ball and going forward. It happens in an instant.
This is no knock on the Big South by any stretch of the imagination, but this is a little different, right? Playing in front of a jam-packed house like this.
Yeah, it feels like an NCAA tournament environment. It's hot out here, so that also, it's also hot in Asheville. I get that, but it's hot here, so that has a little bit effect on your energy. But yeah, you don't have these crowds night in and night out at a lot of venues in the country, Big South or no.
How about this ball? Here's Chow, and he nets it to the bottom left corner. 2-0, Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Chow's been hunting one tonight. He's been really good. And again, this was a ball kind of popped over the top, and he's been quick enough to get on the end of it, get behind that back line of UNC Asheville, and a really good clinical finish here with the defender bearing down on him. Not easy to handle, but Chow gets it done to double the Virginia Tech lead. How important in those first 5 minutes as we take another look at it. Here you go, chipped over the top, and there he is to run in on it. Got the goalkeeper coming on you. Great finish there.
A spectacular ball by Trey Gardner, and Chow just had to lob it up and over the Big South goalkeeper of the year from a season ago. But I cannot stress enough, what a dime of a pass.
Yeah, that's an easy one to score with the assist. Back to front, and we've seen Virginia Tech have some opportunities with those balls skipping through the midfield, bypassing the midfield. And when you have Chow up there to be able to use his speed and athleticism, strength to get behind that back line, and Fair was in a one-on-one situation, and that's a tough ask for your keeper.
All right, Adam. Coach Briz said wanted to bring new scorers into this thing and into the rotation for Virginia Tech. That was the big emphasis in the offseason. Well, you had 3 of your 4 scorers in the season opener be by new faces, and then now in the second game, both Hackenberg and Chow net their first of the season. They didn't score in the opener. So now to this point, you've had 6 different Hokies score goals in 2024. Excuse me, 5, because you had the 2 in the last one against North Florida by Sammy Colby.
Yeah, you can do it a couple of different ways, right? You can have one guy and it just kind of be a classic number 9 and finish everything for you, or you can have a variance and attack it, and at some point it might be a combination of both. You might go through spells where one guy's getting everything, and you might go through a spell here where you're spreading the wealth a little bit. But it's good to have a variety of players that can put the ball in the back of the net for you. You would love to have somebody come up and get you 12, 13 goals in a season, but in lieu of that, if you can score 3 or 4 a game, you don't care how you get it done.
What is the sense of urgency now for UNC Asheville? Because there's a big difference between 1-0 and 2-0.
Yeah, you've got to turn it up. It's got to be right now, to be quite honest with you. The first 5-10 minutes after the half, everybody will tell you how important that is. Virginia Tech came out, answered the bell, to be quite honest with you, after avoiding danger at the end of the first half, came out, got that second goal. UNC Asheville still has time here, but it's got to be soon. The longer this goes on with Virginia Tech holding the lead, the more deflated UNC Asheville could be. But again, this is a veteran squad, so I don't expect them to hang their heads here.
Alex Perez can't believe the call. Now a set piece from outside for the Bulldogs. Luis Beckett and Brendan Herb. We'll see who puts a foot on it.
This is a big moment here for UNC Asheville. Again, trying to conjure something. When you're not having the run of play, you're not having possession, these are huge moments to try and fight your way back.
It's Beckett. He launches, and there's nobody home.
And you see Beckett with his arms outstretched there after taking that one, as there are really no runners towards that back post, no good options. It was a little heavy there through there, but still no one giving chase on that far post.
Wenzel reverses it. A little bit tricky for Virginia Tech on the back line, as now UNC Asheville kind of has to press big time down by a pair of goals.
Yeah, of course, then you expose yourself to perhaps allowing more opportunities for Virginia Tech, but those are going to be some chances you have to take.
Hamid was the only one around it, besides a handful of orange jerseys, and we head the other way.
Hamid came on as a sub in the first half, played really well offensively. He's got to try and get going here in the second half. That's why he was left in.
There's Hammond. Off in the middle. Now reverse to the far side. Reverse it once again. Edmondson will look to attack. Just feels like Virginia Tech is kind of holding everybody off. There's nowhere to go with it. No open man. And a takeaway in the middle. Here's Esco. Farrer lets it get behind him, and he's able to fall on top of it. Chow was looking for his second.
And again, that really just started from effort. It was Chow steps in front of that ball at the midfield, kind of innocent looking, and all of a sudden Virginia Tech is off to the races. Too careless by UNC Asheville at that portion of the field.
That was another instance where Chow just kind of jumps on one and takes off.
Speed and athleticism right now on display for Virginia Tech and Chow.
Through ball for Chow. Farrer's the first one there.
It's the right idea, though. We've seen Chow's speed on display, so why not try again to get one past him? Break that back line. And again, this all starts just by Chow's effort in the midfield, and Farrer, usually really short-handed, isn't able to get it cleanly, but able to get back to his feet and get on top of it there.
A little bit of backspin to that ball. I think if the backspin was going the other way, kind of came back towards him a little bit there with that second angle.
Corner opportunity.
Kick.
Again, these set opportunities are so huge right now for UNC Asheville. Just hasn't been able to build and send crosses in. It's a tough task, though, sending this one into the air, so we'll see if perhaps they play short or try to play something along the ground here and then try to send something in.
Luis Beckett is tasked with the opportunity. The jumble in front. He lofts it up. And headed directly to the earth. Rolls across the back line. Virginia Tech will take it.
Brendan Herb able to get to that one, but not really able to get anything of substance off with the header. And UNC Asheville, again, another set opportunity, not able to get a shot on goal. We'd love to be able to try and put something on frame and test Cooper Wenzel.
Does your philosophy change at all if you're Virginia Tech now that you have that second goal for a little bit of insurance?
No, it really doesn't. You're hunting the next one. You want to continue to press, maybe not as high up on the field and take many chances, but you're going to be comfortable, really being aggressive and playing forward. You're not going to try and get in the shell and get behind, put numbers behind the ball. You're going to still take some chances. You just have to be smart with your chances. Don't get reckless going forward where you can get caught on a counterattack.
Do you feel that Virginia Tech maybe has a little bit of a chip on their shoulder to prove in the conference, like, hey, we can score goals too? Maybe we didn't last year, but this is a new team.
Yeah, that's I think right now the task is the task at hand, and it's got to feel good that you've been able to put 6 up in, 3 halves plus in this season. Of course, we know that the AC is going to be a different animal, but you have to feel good that you're executing and finishing your opportunities here in the early going. Because if you can't get it done then that you're going to feel not very confident going forward.
There's a nice ball.
Flags up for offside there. That was pretty easy for our AR. Hackenberg, I think, trying to get another one going there.
Hokies have been offsides a handful of times tonight. Twice in the first half, first one of the second half. I think that's just a result of being aggressive, right?
Yeah, and you'll take those. That was Coppola offside, a mistake there. But yeah, you'll take those chances. Called for offside a couple of times tonight. And again, it's a good idea when you're going to play long. You're going to run the risk also of perhaps going offside as it's a little bit tougher to time that run from 25, 30 yards out. So when you're playing a ball that's going to travel a little bit longer, it can be a little bit more difficult to time that.
We came into tonight thinking that UNC Asheville had a real good shot to make some noise, make this game very, very interesting. And to Virginia Tech's credit, they have really dominated. Besides that 10-second portion at the end of the first half, this has been Virginia Tech's game. So it begs the question, because the Big South's a good conference. This is a team picked to finish second, played in a championship game last year, brings back a lot. This is a convincing run for Virginia Tech here. It's still plenty of time to play in the second half, but is this team better than their second to last pick in the ACC?
Well, you'd like to think that if you're a Virginia Tech fan, but of course you look at the ACC and somebody's going to finish in that spot because it's just such a difficult conference. But yes, this is a much improved team. I mentioned it in the first half. Talked to some coaches around the country that think this might be one of the most improved teams from last year to this year. Added the talent, as you mentioned, through the transfer portal, but also a lot of the returning players got that year under their belt and a year's worth of experience, which you cannot put a price on when you talk about building a team. Sometimes you just need that in-game experience, and you have to live it before you can grow from it and get better. But this is definitely a very much improved Virginia Tech side from 2023 to 2024.
We got another injured player on the field. First one of the second half here. As they tend to him. Trying to get eyes on a number. Looks like 20 or 30.
Looks like that might be Grollemund.
And it's actually 26, pardon me. Ragnarsson, the Iceland native. He seems to be shaking it off. There's one look here.
We saw Ragnarsson holding that chest as we elbow. Catches him there. Gonna try and catch his breath. He's gonna start off the field here and then come on when he gets permission.
Oh, Virginia Tech now trying to hold Asheville off the board. I mean, this is a team, Adam, that has a chance to go 2-0 to start the season for the first time since 2019, a year that they started 4-0. And again, trying to get back to the NCAA tournament, haven't been there since 2021.
The other thing that you want to do is protect your home field, and right now in the early going, Virginia Tech is looking like they're doing that. You would love to try and get another clean sheet. UNC Asheville's going to try and have something to say about that.
Ball in front, just misses that left post. Another good chance for Luis Beckett, couldn't bury it.
And again, here's Wenzel, has it read, and so he's either going to get it or it's going to go wide.
Yeah.
So in a good spot there, because it looks dangerous as it's rolling past him, but he's positioned himself in such a way where if it's on frame, he's got it saved, and if it goes past his grasp, it's going to go out of play.
And headed away immediately, but a chance up towards the top. Scrum in the middle, and cleared away. There's no way Uimana in the middle. 3-on-3 up the field. Now 4-on-3. Tech trying to create. Lobbed in front. Chow with a chance. And he's in a mess of black jerseys there and got it taken away rather quickly. But again, he's been all over the place tonight.
Yeah, sometimes it's worth getting that foul called to try and win the ball. You hope maybe the referee doesn't call it, but he was being really physical, had his hands on UNC Asheville. It gets called, but he is in the center of all of the problems here for UNC Asheville.
Hamid and the Bulldogs punched away. Well, Stephenson got beat on the last possession by Luis Beckett, who missed it wide left. He wasn't going to get beat a second time.
Well, I got to tell you, Giovanni, I think that UNC Asheville has to hope for better on these set opportunities. Haven't been able to generate a ton. And if it's going to be a second ball, if it's in the air, Virginia Tech is winning the first ball. So you got to be quick to that second to try and create a chance.
Trying to threaten on the corner, trailing by a pair. Put in play. Stephenson lasers it off. Goes wide right again, and hands on his head. Luis Beckett thought he could have done a little better.
And there was that second chance that I just talked about. Nothing happening on the service from the corner, but it does get to Beckett. His shot definitely wants it on frame. He's disappointed in himself. Again, you gotta make Wenzel make some decisions, come out and make some saves. Have to ask questions of the keeper here.
54 saves a season ago for Cooper Wenzel at Cal State Northridge. Oh, there was a nice touch, and it just got out of play. Oliver Rhodes tried to kind of dance it down the line. Here comes UNC Asheville. Reversed off to Edmondson. Tried to give a give and go going, and instead it's taken away. Solid headpiece by Ragnarsson to make sure Chow didn't have a breakaway chance.
That's a long ball from UNC Asheville, trying to get forward.
3-on-3. Sails high and away. Seth Hammond with his first shot of the second half. Couldn't put it on Cage.
Not quite as sharp in the final third for UNC Asheville, but generating some opportunities. Not a lot of sustained possession, but we're seeing UNC Asheville create some opportunities, get some corner kicks. Already have 3 here in the second half. Talked about how important those set pieces are, but then you're generating those, but then you're not finishing. Oh, we're going to have a card on the keeper for it, perhaps a delay. Another card issue here in this match.
Another card here, and Wenzel picks one up. How often do you see the keeper get a card?
Well, it's an interesting point because, you know, you don't think of time wasting really being as much of a consideration here with still 28 minutes left in this one.
Hamid touches it into the middle. And all orange everything. Virginia Tech works it up the field. We plummet south of 30 minutes left to play in this second half. Been all Virginia Tech all night. Chow touches it to Uimana. He's tangled up. What a move by Uimana. Uimana dancing. Dumps it off to the top. And they reverse it. Willie Cardona. Sammy Colby had 2 goals in the opener.
Well, that had shades of him wanting to get it on that left foot right and fire one.
Yeah.
Shades of opening night from Colby, where he got 2 rockets off that left foot.
From way outside on that first one.
Yes. In a similar area outside the box.
Thought for a second Uemana was going to make something happen. We saw him last season. One of his 3 goals on the year against Boston College here at home. He had a SportsCenter top 10 goal where he just made a man miss, blasted it from downtown, top left bins. I mean, it was sensational. Coppola tried to get it through to Chow. Oh, here's Coppola with a chance. He's tripped up.
Yeah, good dummy there by Roach in the middle of the field, freeing up Coppola. Virginia Tech doing a nice job of possessing and then reversing sides of the field, trying to stretch that UNC Asheville from side to side and then find your spot to go forward.
4 saves for the Bulldogs, 1 save for Virginia Tech. 5 yellow cards. Our stat update is a little unique this evening.
Piling them up, huh? Cards are in mid-season form.
Nobody home but Ferrer. Closest Hokie was Oliver Roach streaking up the field. Adam, taking a look at the ACC, who would be, besides Clemson, your pick to kind of make it to that title game? As Wenzel is there.
We've got a lot of different options, and you'll hear from somebody perhaps that, you know, about how unhappy you might be. Boy, it's a tough one. I think Stanford is a team that, but you don't know how the travel's going to affect, you know, play. It's something that people kind of gloss over, that, you know, men's and women's soccer, volleyball teams are going to be traveling across the country and trying to play and be at their best. As we take another look at this one.
Yeah, he just gets run into here.
If you're going to really hold my feet to the fire, right? If you're really going to hold my feet to the fire, I do think SMU is kind of a sneaky team in the ACC because you're not real familiar with them. A good season, you have access to all kinds of talent in Texas. So I think that SMU, if you're gonna say take Clemson off the board, defending national champion, won 2 of the last 3. You look a little bit further down the board. I think that SMU could potentially make a run.
We spent our halftime talking about how loaded this conference is, but one thing we did not necessarily hammer home is that, sure, the conference is great, and these teams will kind of beat up on each other a little bit, but grand scheme of things, I mean, you have top 25 national teams across the board in the United Soccer Coaches Poll, including 5 in the top 10. It's unbelievable.
Well, I mean, just think about how intense the ACC tournament is going to be. I mean, that is a gauntlet. If you are holding that trophy at the end of the year, you know, that's just not something that you can gloss over. That is a big, big deal. You take a look at the rankings there. That is, you know, the ACC tournament is going to be one of the more exciting tournaments in the country. And I won't say it's more competitive than the NCAA tournament because that's only a field of 48. Everybody's good, but my goodness, that is going to be a challenge.
How about a team like Syracuse? Because Coach McIntyre up in upstate New York, and there's a good chance for the Bulldogs that goes wide left. Coach McIntyre up in central New York, he's got a team that was picked to finish 10th in the ACC. With that being said, 10th out of 15 teams, they were still preseason 25th in the country, and now they're all the way up to 7. Won the Natty in 2022.
Yeah, corner kick here for UNC Asheville, but back to your point about Syracuse, it'll be about, interestingly, I think it'll be about teams that get on a run. Who's playing well, who's in really good form at the end of the year.
Corner kick up in the air. And again, Adam, it's just the Bulldogs. have had little to no threat on those corner kicks here in the second half.
Yeah, and that's been a big difference coming out, and you get those set piece opportunities. Got to feel good about that you're generating them, but then you feel deflated that you're not getting a ton of quality opportunities directly off of those. That's got to be deflating because you are doing well enough to earn them, but just not enough quality in that final touch here for the Bulldogs tonight. That's one of the reasons that they're scoreless. Also, you know, you got to give Virginia Tech a lot of credit. When that ball comes in, they've been first to the ball. It's been a theme tonight. Sometimes we talk about it being in the midfield and winning some of those opportunities, and a lot of times on those set pieces, it's been those big, tall center backs and midfielders coming in as well to win that first ball, and again, stopping any chances before they start.
UNC Asheville trying to work. Nice little give and go. Najib in the middle. Dumps it off to the far touchline. Lofted towards Hamid. Back to the net. And we got an injured Hokie, and we got substitutions coming in as well.
I think the flag was up there on Hamid being in an offside position.
So Chow comes out for Tech, and he's actually down right now. Brings Hackenberg in. Marcos Esco back off the bench. Carter Hensley, the captain, will take a seat. And you need Chow. Seems to be all right walking this one off. Chow with a huge one for Virginia Tech early on in the second half. Just a sensational ball up the field by Trey Gardner. And Chow with that streaking speed, able to bury it bottom left.
Yeah, huge, a great play from the back to get into the front, but you see that speed from Chow. Fair tries to come out and cut down the angle, but a beautiful finish from Chow to get that goal.
That goal feels as though it has been the difference maker, kind of the dagger, if you will. Here's a chance for Tech in front, crossed in front, and launched away at the last second. Sanguetti got his foot on it. And how about that? It's funny how the ball finds you. Ian Mercano, fresh off the bench, and instantly had an opportunity like that.
With the no re-entry, Chow's night is done. But a good shift out of him. You know, of course you love the goal, but you got to love the effort that he was putting in and the danger and the pressure that he was putting on UNC Asheville, really from the get-go.
How about a guy like Mercano? Like, what is this opportunity for him? You come fresh off the bench. You see him flying around there, right? Those fresh legs. And if you're on Coach Brizz's team and you're one of those, got a chance to play, but maybe not one of your day in, day out starters, I mean, these minutes are huge. The freshman out of Maryland.
Yeah, you don't know when the next opportunity is going to come. You want to make the most of it. You want to put, as the football coaches like to say, you want to put something on tape, right? So yeah. You want to, show that you're going to come in and give good effort. You're going to be disciplined. You're going to do what the coaches ask you to do. And you want to try and have an imprint as best you can on the contest. And you can also, gain the trust, right? You want to gain the trust of the coaching staff that they can put you in a game situation. I'm not sure that this would classify as a high-pressure situation, but it's live game action against a very good team. And so can you be trusted to go in there and do what you're supposed to do your job, and perhaps the next time that there needs to be a decision to be made, will you perhaps bubble up to the top of that list?
Handful of new faces in the ball game for the Hokies as well. Esco in the game for the first time in this second half. He's a guy, again, that maybe not be a starter, but they're going to use him a lot, both offensively and defensively. Can kind of do a little bit of everything, and I think the Hokies love what he brings to the table.
Yeah, he's a guy that came off the bench last year, so that's a role that he is familiar with. I think everybody wants to start, everyone wants to play the full game, everyone wants to score other goals, but part of building a team throughout the year is knowing your role. What do you do, and how do you play to those strengths? And how does that complement the other pieces around you? So that's the challenge. That's part of this early season going for all programs, is to kind of see what pieces you have, how do they work together to try and get the results for your team.
Well, the ball's launched into the crowd, and they might not get to keep the souvenir, but everybody's sticking around too. I mean, Hokies have it in hand, 2-0, and definitely plenty of soccer left to be played, but this crowd just enjoying a beautiful Tuesday night at Thompson.
I mean, what else should you be doing, right?
Sure.
Why not be out here? Of course, you could watch at home, when we appreciate those folks doing that, but a great night here, a great environment for college soccer. You get a terrific look at this beautiful venue. What a great backdrop here in Blacksburg. You know, I think college soccer is special. It brings the game to a lot of places. You know, it definitely is the world's game. We know that. But now here in Blacksburg, get a touch of it in different parts of the country, embracing this sport, and it is a fan favorite for college campuses.
I may be a little biased, but I'm under the belief that Thompson Field displays some of the most beautiful sunsets, not just in the ACC, but across the country. You got the sun setting behind the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's a picturesque backdrop with McComas Hall and the Hokie Stone in the back. I mean, this is a sight. This is a sight and a fun place to see a game, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it would be tough to beat, and we are certainly being treated to a beautiful sunset here tonight, bringing delight to the fans. Kind of matches the sky matches that orange for Virginia Tech. Burnt orange, I know that it is, but you know, I think even more for the fans, happy for the 2 goals and the way that Virginia Tech has played, looking for another.
Hackenberg to Roach, and it's sent away.
The biggest problem that UNC Asheville has faced has been the speed and athleticism that Virginia Tech has posed. Those longer balls back to front have been tough to deal with, but when it's been a little bit more organized, when UNC Asheville's been able to be a little more organized, they've been better to they've done better defending in that last third. Yeah, see, looks like a cramping issue. We talked about the heat here today. Hydration so important here in this early portion. It's so crazy because as this season goes on, it's going to be bitter cold.
Yes.
So you start in August and it's 90, and you end in December with mittens and gloves.
Oh, he seems to be all right. That's the second time we've seen Ragnarsson go down here in the second half.
Yeah, took a bump to the chest and now dealing with a cramp. Looks like his day might be done though as well.
I mean, it's a hot night out there.
Yeah.
Right. Probably just starting to ease off a little bit, if you will, with that sun finally starting to plummet behind them. Up towards 90 degrees when we got this thing going in Blacksburg. Well, Virginia Tech still trying to create, still trying to get some opportunities. There's the All-ACC freshman Noe Uimana, but the road ahead, it's definitely going to be loaded for Virginia Tech, not just in the ACC, but even the rest of the non-con. You're on the road against a top 25 opponent in Kentucky. You got Presbyterian. You're on the road at Furman, and then boom, big-time ACC matchup against the 2022 national champ Syracuse.
Yeah, each opportunity, particularly in non-conference, you get to see perhaps where you are. You're going to get a good look at Kentucky and kind of see if your form can continue.
Great defense by Tack. A second chance. Nobody home.
Well, I thought Hammond might have been able to let that one fly. Instead, opted to to lay it off. Not a bad choice as well, but
There's one launched way over the net and out of play. In the mix, in the middle there, really all night, has been Stephenson. The Bulldogs are pushing a little bit here, especially towards the tail end. They've had a little bit more generated offense, and at this point, if you can't win the game, you want to find some momentum to carry into the next.
Yeah, we talked about trying to press forward, and you don't want to maybe expose yourself to counters. I think that's out the window. You've got to try and go and find one. If you end up letting one in on the other end, so be it. But you're going to have to take some chances. We have another injury, and
like
those moments. We talked about the moments and substitutions and injuries. Do you take your chance here with another substitution? I'm not sure it's really critical in this match and how many moments UNC Asheville has subbed, but it is something to keep an eye on here this year, how that gets monitored and managed as the season goes on. If this match is level, does that change your decision making? If you've used 5 moments, do you use the 6th one here? So just an interesting little wrinkle into the college soccer season.
Benyon Yao getting the electrolytes in his system. Just south of 14 minutes left to play. And you can see how kind of hard-nosed of a coach Mick Giordano is, saying, hey, keep the foot on the gas here in the last little bit.
Yeah, this match isn't over to him, that's for sure. Urging the Bulldogs to keep going, keep putting pressure on. Obviously UNC Asheville conceded that goal, but this has been a better half for UNC Asheville for sure. Much better than the first half. The possession, forget what the percentage is. It's been better. Created some opportunities, corner kicks. The quality in the final third just hasn't been there. And that'll happen on some nights, and of course Virginia Tech has something to do with that. Those center backs intervening on those set pieces. But better second half here for UNC Asheville, and you can build off that.
Esco trying to track it down. Keeps it in play. Oh, he megged him. Marcos Esco touches it off. Lob to the far side. Hackenberg wanted a second. And it's nullified by this back line of the Bulldogs. What a play by Esco, though.
And it was a crafty idea from Mercano to try and get that one to the far post, just not able to get a teammate there.
Here's Roach. Dumps it off for Esco. Double team comes. It's going to take him right back. Virginia Tech has a quick turnaround as well. We talked about the upcoming schedule. They'll play on Labor Day at Kentucky, a team that's picked to finish 4th in the Sun Belt.
Sun Belt quickly establishing itself as a really strong soccer conference.
I think your outsider looks at that and says, what are you talking about? Kentucky in the Sun Belt? That's right.
Kentucky and Marshall and West Virginia. Nationally ranked out of the Sun Belt. Of course, there's no soccer for the SEC, which is why Kentucky is a little bit of a, I don't even want to use the term free agent because of the way college sports is now, but that's how Kentucky has landed in the Sun Belt.
Independent, if you will.
Yeah,
well,
that's
I guess
better.
Not independent, but.
Well, a confluence of circumstances that led to the Sun Belt being really, really strong.
I think that's one of those schools, right? The University of Kentucky, its location, its prowess in Lexington, that I think any conference says, open arms, hey, come on in.
A beautiful stadium there as well. You're seeing so many universities invest, as I mentioned before, invest in soccer programs. and building beautiful stadiums and venues and creating a fun and exciting environment. Because, again, would soccer land in Lexington if not for, college sports? I don't think so. But then when it does, it's a fun place to play. It's a great environment. And we see that on so many college campuses, places that you wouldn't maybe think would create this crazy and fun and exciting soccer environment. And obviously Kentucky's been really good for a while. So, if you win, they come and you have fun.
Well, I was going to say, it's a good night when you got the head man smiling, and then all of a sudden, there's a little bit of a smirk out of the 16th-year head coach Mike Brizendine. But now he's getting some new faces into the ball game and starting to unload the bench a little bit here. Hokies in front by a pair.
And not to belabor it again, but with the rule changes in the moments, you see more than one player come on at a time. So you're going to see more wholesale changes, not wholesale changes, but 2-3 players come on.
Sure.
And sometimes if a player gets injured and you're going to have to make a 1-for-1, you might add 2 or 3 more players into that just so that you don't, put one in and then a few moments later burn another opportunity.
A little more basketball-esque, if you will, kind of unloading the bench in the late stages. Hokies get to do it now for the second time in as many tries in the 2024 season. On the verge of starting 2-0 for the first time since 2019, a year in which they started 4-0 and played in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I think if you're Coach Brizendine and you're kind of checking off the boxes, the challenges will be greater as the season goes on, and that's not to take anything away from UNC Asheville, but you have to like what you've seen so far in terms of a variety of goal scorers, a variety of different ways that you've scored goals. You've seen the team able to solve problems on the fly, see what perhaps the opponent is giving you and take advantage of that. And then the other thing that's not to be forgotten is Virginia Tech still working on trying to see this one through, but working on another shutout, which is obviously a huge component to the way that you want to play.
Scored by newcomers, but how about this? The 4 goals were the most by the Hokies in a season opener since putting up 11 against Mars Hill in 1993. But that just goes to show how big a 4-0 win truly is. I mean, it is something to hang your hat on, especially to open up the 2024 campaign with an exclamation point.
Yeah, and you just want to keep building on that. And, we talked about it in the Open, which team was going to be able to take that resounding win and then build off of it. And so far it's been Virginia Tech that's been able to do that and looks very similar to what they did last week here tonight. It's been a continuation of that, and rather than kind of a stop and start, and you're maybe not sure what you've got going on, going into next week's match. You've got a better idea of what you've got and the way that you're going to want to play, even though you're still a little bit of a work in progress, as every team is here in the country.
How many players in the NCAA tournament do you think the ACC gets
a
year like this?
Gosh, it is, the field is 48, right? And it's just such a narrow, there's just no room for error. 9 last year, that's a huge number.
That's crazy.
It's hard, it's going to be, I think just from the pure mathematics of it, I think it's going to be hard to get more than 9, which means you're going to leave some really good teams out. And of course, some teams are going to have some losing records that are really good, really quality sides. But just because the nature of this conference is so hard, that some good teams, some quality teams are going to end up with some records that might not look that great, and they're going to get left out of the NCAA tournament, even though I guarantee the number 15 team, whoever is last, would have a puncher's chance against any squad in the NCAA tournament.
That's Stephenson getting stretched out for Virginia Tech. Been all over the place defensively on the back line for the Hokies tonight.
He's earned the right to have a cramp because he has been outstanding. He's been an eraser back there for Virginia Tech.
And again, the substitution rules change this entire approach here. Not that you necessarily would take him out, but you have to think about it a little bit more, as we've alluded to time in, time out tonight. There's a look at Hackenberg, who knotted the first goal tonight for Virginia Tech. Scored it on a penalty kick. Put the Hokies in front 1-0. This team hasn't looked back since. How about that? The family's out tonight, too. It's not just the students. Bring the kids out to the game. And Stephenson's still in quite a bit of discomfort here.
You hear the cowbells going, as we mentioned, the giveaway.
It's a little Mississippi State Bulldog-esque. I can get down with this, though.
Okay.
We should have cowbells at every soccer match. It adds a little bit of little extra noise. That's a great skit. That's a great skit.
Yeah, they're excited. They're loving it. They love the 2-0 lead.
You can never hear that song by the Blue Oyster Cult quite the same after that skit. They got the bubble machines out tonight too. This is insanity. Well, Stephenson's gonna come off here. And Noe Uemana returns to the field, and now he's been waved off.
So the thing to think about with the substitution rule is if you've used all of your moments, right? Let's just say for fun that Virginia Tech had used 6 moments and they've got a player that goes down. They have to make a decision, right? They have to make a decision whether they're going to play a man down or you're going to play in, because you've used all of your moments.
Hackenberg launches. Right to Fair.
The other sort of tactical part is the no re-entry. That's also another new rule, no re-entry in the second half. There was never re-entry in the first half, so the only thing that changes is no re-entry in the second half. So, it changes the patterns of the way that coaches substituted. Sometimes you'd have a guy start the second half, start both halves, come out maybe with a half hour left, give them a 15-minute break, and then bring them back on to try and close strong. But that's out the window now with the no re-entry.
It feels like such a literal sport-changing
right?
rule change. I mean, it's huge.
Well, and you think about the way that some programs have built is depth. They've tried to say, hey, we're going to play 18, 19 guys, right. And after a half hour, we're going to put in 6 new players with fresh legs, and we're going to change the way that this game looks by substitutes. And you can still do some of that, but the way that you've built your programs on depth potentially has changed, because you're not going to be able to perhaps use as many players as you did in the past, which is a selling point for some coaches. You come here, you're going to play half hour, and you can kind of count on that.
Virginia Tech awarded the possession here. And now Coach Giordona gets to take a seat. Another yellow card. Seth Hammond, the guilty party for the Bulldogs. And Wenzel launches to the offensive third. Here's a cross in front. Shot just high wide. Oliver Roach tried to make it 3-0. Incredible feed as well by Harrison Krieg.
Yeah, you just said it. Working to the end line to get that ball across, and Roach just not able to be super clean there. Puts it over the crossbar. But good work by Krieg to create an opportunity.
Oh, what a ball.
Tried to sweep that around with that left foot. He's not able to get it down and on frame.
Under 7 minutes left to play. What are the positive takeaways here for UNC Asheville, who again has such a full season in front of them, and they're going to continue to play with that chip on their shoulder? And sure, you would have loved to go on the road and win this game, but it's a non-con game, and you have so much left to play for.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway for me would be the resilience shown in the second half as we look what's ahead of UNC Asheville. Things did not go well for the Bulldogs in the first half, didn't have much of the ball, but then really responded in the second half, created some chances. Possession still might not have been there, but was able to create some corners. And, 3 of the next 5 are on the road, so it's going to be tough, but I think there's enough quality on this side, enough experience, that a setback tonight, if this score holds, I don't think is going to make much of a ripple in their season here, because they do have some big goals in the Big South Conference. I don't think this really derails anything. You try to learn from a little bit, but I think the biggest takeaway, to answer your question, is we can respond. It was a tough environment, tough atmosphere, tough start, but as a squad, if you're UNC Asheville, you got to feel good about the response in the second half.
Big South play right around the corner for this team. And it's also worth noting that they were without Connor Behan tonight. 27 in black, who, again, preseason all-conference for this team. And just a huge contributor. He finished tied for the team. Sammy Colby. Off to Krieg. Let's take it away.
Yeah, getting Behan back will be big for the Bulldogs as they try to get their season back on track.
Try to get one through. 3 orange jerseys in the way. And Virginia Tech can reset defensively here. Behan was first team all-conference a season ago. And there he is. Unfortunately, has to wear the street clothes tonight. That is a majestic mustache.
That is well done.
That's impressive.
I think it's worth noting that the other day that the UNC Asheville bench did have a card issued to it, as we see Coach Briz getting to talking to.
Briz is in disagreement, I think, is the fair thing to say, and there's a card. Another yellow card.
Yeah, I think a lot of the cards we've seen tonight have been oftentimes, obviously in this situation, less about the contact and more about the argument and the show of displeasure for both players, and obviously now extending to the coaching staff.
7 yellow cards tonight between the 2 teams combined. 5 of them have been owned by the Hokies. Oh, this movement in the middle. Roach dancing away from defenders. Marcano with it now. Reverses field.
Good switch there.
Evan Schroeder trying to set it up. Off to Hackenberg. Just south of 5 minutes left to play. The Hokies will throw it in.
When you look at some of the more dangerous moments from Virginia Tech, it's been some of those longer balls. And when you think about going forward for UNC Asheville, they're not going to see as many talented athletes like Malik Chow running down at them and getting behind that back line, he was just a handful tonight getting in behind that back line. So when you talk about the ways that perhaps UNC Asheville got broken down tonight, it's a lot of it due to that individual talent that Virginia Tech brings that perhaps other opponents going forward aren't going to maybe have players that present that sort of challenge to that back line.
Schroeder once again to toss it in for Tech. Tried to find Roach. And here come the Bulldogs. Right back with Schroeder. Sammy Colby. Can he strike with the left? Colby weaves through traffic and gets it taken away. Trying to create there in the middle for a second inside the box.
Yeah, I was going to be curious to see if he was going to shoot with that right or try to get it back on that left foot.
There he is with a touch. And now Hackenberg serves it off to Roach. Best shot for Krieg tonight, blocked away. Now launched, and it hits off the back left post. Johannes wanted number 3 and was inches away.
Not sure if that took a deflection, but really tough for Ferrer to deal with. Fortunate that that one hits the post. Get another look at it. Just on the inside of the post, too. Great shot of it here.
Rare occurrence where they had Ferrer beat. If he could have hugged that post.
It's not a home post, is it?
I guess not.
Not the home roll that you'd be looking for. But again, it was Virginia Tech. If you kind of break that play down, it's Virginia Tech being faster on the second balls. Ball was across, and right now Virginia Tech still with the 2-0 lead and only 2.5 minutes left in this one is still hungry and working hard to try and find a third.
Looking for another shutout victory to start the season 2-0. Schroeder backpedaling. Back into the defensive third. Marcano touches it right back to Schroeder. All of a sudden they got numbers. Reverses it. And here's Krieg. Launches. Misses high. Big boot by Ferrer to the middle. Headed up to Hackenberg. He nutmegged him. Hackenberg with space. Hackenberg. High again. Oh, he wanted that one back.
They all want them all the time, right? The senior from Pittsburgh, terrific effort. Great first touch bringing that one down. And he's had a night tonight, urging the Hokie faithful, even in these final moments, to stay on their feet.
I don't know if you've played the new college football video game, but the camera was just shaking. Like, where was the stadium pulse meter as everyone's stomping here at Thompson Field? And we're under a minute left to play. Hokies in front 2-0. But they want more inside the final minute. Schroeder with green grass.
Final moments here in this one. Looks like Virginia Tech trying to hold on to this shutout in the final seconds.
Launch towards the net. And an easy play for Wenzel to cap off the night. Down to 10 seconds. And he's going to hang on to it. In front of a packed house, Virginia Tech. A 2-0 victory. And they're 2-0 to start this season for the first time since 2019.
A deserved 3 points.